This YCN segment is brought to you by Harris Family Furniture in Plymouth, Laconia, and Chichester.
Welcome back. YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Brett Franklin. Brett joins us from ESPN Radio for the Upper Valley, 94.5 FM, 1400 AM, and 1230 AM. And Brett, your show is on live Monday through Friday on the radio, 12 to 1.
That is correct.
Matt Hausman.
That is correct. And then, of course, on YCX TV, 5 to 6 o'clock on television.
Replay. There you go. So if you can't catch it all, you can listen to the replay at 6 o'clock on the radio or watch it on TV at 5 o'clock. Let's get into some Celtics talk, and that's kind of been in the news since the trade broke last week, and then the injury information came out. First question, I mean, the Cavs knew about this, so do they really have any recourse, or is this just kind of them trying to pull one over on the Celtics and the rest of the NBA, because this could have ramifications throughout the league?
Yeah, you had to know that Isaiah Thomas's hip was going to be an issue, and maybe it's Cleveland's recognizing that maybe they got taken to the woodshed in this deal. Maybe not taken to the woodshed, that's kind of a... But they got an unprotected draft pick out of it. But It sounds like it's a little bit of a panic move from Cleveland. Right. The two teams talked earlier yesterday, ESPN reporting that the Cavs willing to take a late first round or second round pick to complete the compensation, which I think happens. As long as you're not giving up that Lakers pick and or Kings pick, which can turn protected pick for next year, you're okay. But Cleveland knew what they were getting themselves into, and this was really the only deal that would make them save face, at least that they could get a potentially top 5 lottery pick.
Well, and you're not going to give up a player. I mean, there was talk that the Cavs wanted Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, and obviously that's not going to happen. That would have been a non-starter. Celtics wouldn't even have made that move. And like I said on my radio show on Saturday, I think a second-round pick, they throw in a second-round pick, and that's good enough. I mean, at this point, I guess the Cavs can nix the deal. I don't think that it's set in stone, but because they knew what they were getting into, it would kind of make them look pretty bad.
Yeah, they're at the point of no return.
Right.
I mean, there's no way Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder could come back to Boston and play for the Celtics after they just shipped you out of town. And I think Kyrie Irving's ready to move on. It's going to happen. There's just some fine details to come out. I was a little surprised there wasn't another second-round pick when it originally came out, but this is going to happen. Kyrie Irving's coming to Boston, and it's going to be a lot of fun for NBA fans and Celtics fans this winter.
And to be honest, it looked like the Cavs, they wanted Isaiah Thomas, but the biggest part of this trade was the draft pick, the Nets draft pick, unprotected, and I know talk is that it might not be as high as last year. There's a chance it might not be number 1, but it's kind of Thomas can be a take it or leave it. Obviously, he's a big piece, but for the Cavs, they really want that number 1 pick, especially the first-round pick, especially if LeBron's gone next year.
LeBron is leaving next year. I think that's just a no-doubter. He is leaving. They had to come back with the fan base for something to dangle for next year. Right. But the team, I mean, Jay Crowder, he's a nice little piece. Isaiah Thomas, obviously with the hip injury, but the team's gotten older. I still think the Celtics 50-50 favorites right now to win the East. 51-49 favor of the Celtics over the Cavs.
Right, well, that's what I was going to say. So it's still pretty close in the East, but both these teams are still significantly behind the Warriors in the NBA, in the whole NBA.
Yes,
right?
I would agree. But I do think the Warriors will be a little bit more vulnerable next year. But I think the Celtics could give them a series. But yeah, I still think Golden State is the favorite.
Well, they got to be. At some point, you have the Warriors setting the record for wins, and then they lose the championship. Last year, the regular season wasn't as good, but they win the championship. I know they're good, but they have yet to have a real significant injury. I know Draymond Green was suspended in the finals. Kevin Durant was out a little bit last year. But these things, as much of a sure thing as it looks like now, these things have a chance to change pretty quickly.
Yes, and then I said after the NBA Finals last year that this would be the last time that we would see these two teams meet up, and I feel even better because Cleveland's not really going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And I expect the LeBron fiasco or the distraction that will loom the entire season and create distractions for the Cavs. So even better for the Celtics.
And the Celtics, although they do have only 4 players on their roster from last year, we know Brad Stevens is going to make something work. He gets a lot out of every one of his players, and it's going to be an interesting season. That'll only be starting, I think sometime in October, so not too long away from that. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll head to the touchscreen, and we will make our picks for the Super Bowl top 5 teams who we think have the best chance to win the Super Bowl. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.